This is In the News. I'm your host, Keith Lander, and we talk about the current news subjects that I pick out for this show. Hey, share the show out. Share it out on your Facebook. Hit the subscribe button and the like button. Give me a thumbs up or even give me a thumbs down, whichever one you feel necessary to do. But let me know you're out there and watching the show. And to the young man I met at the library the other day, I hope you enjoy the show and share the show out. I forgot your name, but you know who you are. I met you over at the library over on Abbey. And so we had a little conversation. So watch the show. Okay. The first topic, this is out of Canton, Ohio. And the headline, I Can't Breathe, How a Black Man's Death in Ohio Reminds Us of George Floyd's Killing, Systemic Racism. Here's what happened. Frank Tyson, 53-year-old black man, died at a local hospital after repeatedly telling officers, I can't breathe, as they pinned him to the floor in a bar with handcuffs on him. So actually what happened, and we're gonna roll the footage because they got some body cam footage that you can see. All right, so we're gonna roll that body cam footage and I'll comment on the other side of that footage.
Who did this? He's in the VFW. He ran in there.
He ran in where?
Right now, yeah, and his car's right there.
All right.
Yeah, he's in the VFW right now. The white black in the VFW.
Birch, you want to come with me?
Over the next 2 minutes, officers make their way down the street and into the bar.
Please get him out of here now.
I ain't leaving that mother. No, get the sheriff.
No,
Get the
we're going
sheriff
outside.
for
We're
him.
going
Get the sheriff.
outside.
No, you ain't killing me. You ain't killing me tonight. You ain't killing me. You can't kill me. No, you guys are killing me. They're on here. They're trying to kill me. 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 Why you trying to kill me? They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. You're killing the sheriff's department. Call the sheriff. Call the sheriff's department. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. Call the sheriff. Call the sheriff. Call the sheriff department. Call the sheriff. 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 They're trying to kill me. Call the sheriff. 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 They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me.
You're going to get sprayed.
I don't get close, sheriff.
You're going to get sprayed. Don't spray.
Call the sheriff.
Don't spray him.
Call the sheriff. They're gonna kill me. Call the sheriff. Call the sheriff.
I got him. Here it goes. Got him.
You want that one? Say when.
You're good. Good. Give me his other hand.
Get over me. Okay?
Calm down. Calm down.
Get ready.
20 custody, 2029.
Stop fighting.
I can't read. I can't read. I can't. Get off my neck. I can't breathe.
That's the story right there. I'll be glad I was for you.
Okay.
I can't breathe.
You're fine.
Then, as Frank Tyson laid motionless on the ground, bar patrons can be heard talking to police.
So I thought he was here to pick up the to-go order.
I've always wanted to be in a bar fight. I don't know if this counts.
Yeah, chalk it up, man.
It's your story.
Those conversations continued over the next several minutes. It took officers nearly 5.5 minutes from the point Tyson was motionless for them to check on him.
Did he calm down?
Yeah, he might be out.
Breathing?
It took officers another 3 minutes to realize something was seriously wrong.
Roll him over on his back.
Officers can then be seen on video attempting CPR for over 7 minutes and at times questioning where the paramedics were. You can then see the paramedics arrive at 8:47. a full 13 minutes after Tyson first went motionless.
Hey, guy, bring a BBM.
Okay, so actually what happened, Mr. Tyson wrecked his car into a pole. He jumped out the car. He ran into a local bar. The local bar owners wanted him out of the bar. They called the police, show up. Somebody tells them that he ran over in his local bar. The police rush in. Mr. Tyson can be heard saying they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. They wrestle him down. You know, he's resisting. They wrestle him down. And you can see one officer with his knee on the, look like the back or the neck of Mr. Tyson. As a result of that, as far as we know, when they rushed him to the hospital, he died. So here we are again. You know, this was in Canton, Ohio, and it was April the 18th when the incident happened. So here we are. We had George Floyd's death or killing on video. We got Mr. Tyson's death on video so the whole world can see. I thought we was beyond this thing at one time, but I guess we're not. We're back at the same thing. As a matter of fact, one of the witnesses that was in the bar stated that you can hear Mr. Tyson saying, "I can't breathe, get off my neck," as the officers yells at him to calm down, "You're fine." As the minutes passed, Tyson's voice faded. He became motionless and unresponsive. And so, you know, what we have here is we have the individual who's involved in a wreck, running his car into a pole, that results in his death at the hands of the Canton police officers. Here we go again, folks. Reverend Al Sharpton also calls for justice, and he did the eulogy for Mr. Tyson. And Reverend Al Sharpton says, "You can't give us Frank back, but you can do justice for his family," Sharpton said. "This is an assault on all of us. Stand up for Franks of the world, because if they can get away with this, what they did to Frank, they'll do it to you." And Mr. Sharpton is right. The Reverend Al Sharpton is absolutely right. They did it to George Floyd. They did it to Mr. Frank Tyson just a few weeks ago. And so here we are again. We're looking at people, and there have been some protesters. Thank God there have been protesters. But at the end of the day, we have to hold these officers who do these type of maneuvers, like choking, putting your knee across somebody's back and all this kind of stuff, or knee across their neck. We got to hold these officers accountable. Now, in the George Floyd case, Derek Chauvin went to jail, and he should have went to jail. And some of those officers that sit there and watch that, they should have went to jail also, and they did. In this case in Canton, we'll see what happened. The world is watching Canton. Do the right thing. All right. Now, comes down to political news. You know, we got these representatives from the Republican Party running around here talking about like Elaine Stefanik. She's a representative, and she wanted Donald Trump's, I guess, supporters and all this kind of nonsense. She ran around asking the question, is the country better off? She said, is the hard-working Americans better off today than they were 4 years ago? Well, Representative Stefanik, I'm going to answer that question. As a whole, 4 years ago, America was going through one of the worst pandemics it can possibly go through, was the COVID-19 pandemic. Record bodies, record deaths, record number of people in hospitals. It shut down this whole country. Donald Trump was president, and Donald Trump was playing around with this COVID-19 virus as body bags and freezers were being piled up in different cities, and you've seen it on the news on a daily basis. Hospitals was run over with COVID-19 patients. They were dying like crazy. Almost 1 million people died, and Donald Trump was the president, and Donald Trump played around with it. And even the fact that when President Obama was in office, President Obama had a playbook, a pandemic playbook, to try to prevent viruses like this from coming and spreading in the United States. Donald Trump took that doggone pandemic playbook that President Obama had and threw it in the trash because he said he didn't need it. So I tell you what, folks, the deaths of these people who died from COVID is on the hands of Donald Trump and his administration because they played around with it. Donald Trump was talking about you can put bleach into your body. You fool, that bleach will kill you. Then he said take an ultraviolet light and shove it up your rear end. I don't know what the heck he was talking about that. That must be some of his sexual stuff he did with Stormy Daniels. But you can't do that nonsense, folks. I'm going to tell you that right now. Donald Trump is guilty of playing with a deadly virus that killed almost 1 million people in this country. And Elaine Stefanik talking about, is America better off? Huh? Yeah, we better off today than we were in 2020. And I tell you something else. You want to talk about that? As we look at it, as you look at the jobs. Everybody talk about this inflation this, inflation that. Well, when the COVID virus was still running rampant, when President Biden took over, the inflation rate was almost like at 10%. President Biden came in. The inflation rate now is 3.5. All right, getting lower. All right. Remember, this whole thing was shut down. This was a worldwide pandemic. It only didn't affect the United States, but it affected everybody in the world. And also, if you look at the stock market, have you ever seen the stock market when Donald Trump last days in office? The stock market was down almost 18,000 points. You know what the stock market is now under President Biden? It's up to 39,000. All right. Donald Trump lost almost 3,000 jobs on his watch. Right? Not 3,000, 3 million jobs on his watch. You know how many jobs President Biden has added? Almost 13 million. Huh? Donald Trump said he wanted to do away with the Affordable Care Act, as they called it Obamacare. You know what President Biden did? He strengthened the Affordable Care Act, and more people are insured today in record numbers. And I know a bunch of people who got insurance through the Affordable Care Act. You know what I mean? So let's not play with this thing. Remember the infrastructure that Donald Trump said he was going to do? Donald Trump said he's going to have infrastructure week. We're going to have infrastructure this, infrastructure that. You ain't got no infrastructure. They didn't do nothing, folks. You know who passed infrastructure bill? President Biden. All right? So let's stop playing games with this nonsense, you know? And also, let's keep going. You know, as far as child tax credit, you know who gave child tax credits? President Biden. You know who gave the rich and the wealthy tax breaks? Donald Trump. You know who paid for those wealthy tax breaks? The American people, to the tune that Donald Trump added $8 trillion to the budget deficit in 4 years. The only time Donald Trump had a good economy, he rolled off the coattails of what President Obama put in place for 2.5 years. The pandemic, the COVID came in. Donald Trump didn't know how to handle it. He mishandled it. He joked about it. He laughed about it. People were dying in record numbers while he laughed at him and his henchmen. And then you've seen what happened. So let's not play games with this. Are we better off as a country now? 4 years ago. Yeah, we better 4 years ago. We're a whole lot better. And if you ain't no better, that's a you problem. If you're too lazy to go out and do what you need to do to make yourself better, don't blame President Joe Biden for that. Blame yourself. You know what I mean? You're a freeloader like Donald Trump. That's what you want. That's what these Trumpers want. They want stuff given to them. They don't want to compete for it. They want to give it to them. Like I say, give us our country back. This ain't none of your damn country. You took this country, came in here and killed off almost every Native American you can possibly do to kill. Then you realized you couldn't work it yourself. Then you went and kidnapped the Africans, brought them over here, called them all slaves. You took your name. They took their religion. You took their livelihood, and you made these people work for down almost 20 years or more, 100 years or more for free labor. Because you doggone poor, sorry Europeans, uneducated Europeans couldn't do it. So let's not play games. This is the real deal show. We don't sugarcoat nothing. We don't over intellectualize nothing. We bring it right to the root. So let me keep going. Now here you got this Mike Johnson, House Speaker, the U.S. House Speaker. He run around here talking about non-citizens voting. And they come up, they had a press conference May the 8th, talking about the non-citizen voting. They trying to stop non-citizen voting. Look here, folks. Non-citizens are not voting in these federal elections because it's a federal crime for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. It's also a crime under every state's law. In fact, under federal law, you could face up to 5 years in prison for simply registering to vote. It's also you can get deployed. You can get kicked out the country, so to speak. You know what I mean? For offense of non-citizens registered to vote. Now, the Beamer Center did a study of 42 jurisdictions in 2016 general election. They found that election officials in those places who oversaw the tabulation of 23.5 million votes referred only 30 incidents that were suspected non-citizens voting for further investigation or prosecution. So in other words, they were suspected, not proven, non-citizen voting. And if you put that in a percentage, it'll be 0.001% votes cast. So all this nonsense about these people coming here, illegals as they say, they come in here, they want them to vote, Democrats want illegals to vote. Shut up. It's already in law in the books. They can't vote. And even if they did try to register, they'd be caught and thrown out the country. So Mike Johnson and the rest of them, dog, I tell you what, the Republican Party must think the American people is just as dumb as Donald Trump. We ain't that dumb, folks. We ain't that dumb. You can take this thing right here, all right, and look it up. You know, everything I say on this show, you can look it up, you know, and find proof. Everything you hear on them talking points with the conservative shows, you can't find that stuff. There's no base on that nonsense. And so Mike Johnson, the rest of the Republican Party, talking about the, citizens vote, non-citizens voting, they're not. You mad because there's not enough people to vote y'all in the office because y'all ignorant, you're uninformed, you lie, and you pray to an orange god named Donald Trump. That's why we don't want to be bothered with y'all. You know what I mean? Just as simple as that. So here's the last thing I want to say. Here's what Donald Trump said. Now, I'll make sure I got my glasses clean. Donald Trump says Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel and their religion. That's what the man said. He said any Jew person that votes for the Democrats hates their religion. They hate everything about Israel, and they should be ashamed of themselves because Israel will be destroyed. Let me ask y'all something. If let's say somebody of a black persuasion, maybe what's his name? Kanye West? Is that how you pronounce his name? I always mess it up. Let's say he would have said that. What kind of reaction you think would happen? Huh? I bet you would have known about it. You wouldn't have just heard it right here on this show. You would have known about it. They would have wanted Kanye to come out, Kanye to come out and apologize and all this other kind of thing. Sponsors would have ran from him as fast as they could. But Donald Trump says the most anti-Semitic thing you can possibly think of, and you don't hardly hear it over the news. Come on, Jewish people. I'm speaking up for you now. You know what I mean? I'm speaking up for you, Jewish folk, because I don't want you being demonized. Because once you start demonizing a certain group of people, them Donald Trump's followers come around with some hate and start shooting up synagogues and all this kind of nonsense. We've seen that before. That rhetoric leads to violence, and it needs to stop. And every news outlet needs to tell this story, need to tell Donald Trump, you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Jewish, you're anti-Israel. Donald Trump is all those things, folks. You know what I mean? So y'all want to talk about, President Biden, he's still sending weapons to Israel and they taking the money and bombing Gaza. Let me tell you something who should be to blame for that. Benjamin Netanyahu, because he's the one giving the orders to kill innocent men, women, and children in Palestine. So if you want to blame some folks, blame Benjamin Netanyahu. You think Trump won't do any better? Saying that folks, Jewish Democrats, hate Israel? You think he's going to do any better on Israel than what President Biden done? Are you kidding me? You better wake up and smell the coffee, as they say. Well, look here, folks. I'm out of time. I'm going to leave it right there. You know what I mean? So, until next time, may God bless you and your family.